Hello everyone. So today we will solve the problem of the Codeforces round 1096-3. I will try to upload all the problems. Not all, at least I will try to solve all problems except the last one. If I'm able to give a better solution to it, I will definitely try to do that as well. Before starting the video, if you're watching this and if you go further in the video, I would love to hear the feedbacks from you, like what could be better so that you can like or subscribe to the video, and what went wrong so that you didn't like the video, right? So that gives me a feedback on what should I be doing, right? All right, let's start the video. Let's see the problem statement. The problem statement is called palindromex, right? This says that Yusuf has given an array of a of two and integers. Every integer belongs from 0 to n minus 1 and appears exactly twice in the array, right? Your task is to find a subarray that is a palindrome, right? What is a subarray? Subarray is a string of subarray is a continuous length like a1, a2, a3 dot till a7, let's say, right? This is a subarray. This is also a subarray. This is also a subarray. So anything which is continuous is known as a subarray, right? So which is a palindrome, right? Now what is a palindrome? Palindrome is something like which reads from front to end as same, like AA, BB, ZZ, E, right? BE, ZZ, E is same, right? If you want a real life example, it is a race car, right? And I hope this makes sense that how is this palindrome. See, every element which is means if you reverse this word now, you will get the same string again, right? If you reverse this race car, R comes at the front, A comes here, C comes here, E comes here, C comes here, A comes here, and R comes here. And again, if you read it, it will become race car. So if even if you reverse the string, it still B is a palindrome, right? All right. So that it is a palindrome, such that its value, its max value of the palindrome is maximized. All right. Output the maximum possible value, right? Now what is a max? Max is the largest missing number, right? The largest or the first missing number, not the largest missing number. Largest would be the wrong word, right? The first missing number in the given array, right? The first missing number, right? What does it mean? Let's say I am given an array 0 1 3 4 7, right? What is the max of this array? Max of this array is 2. Now why is max 2? Because see, 0 was there, 1 was there, but 2 wasn't there, right? Anywhere in the array 2 wasn't there, right? Let us take one more example so that you can understand. 0 3 6 4, right? What is the max of this array? It is 1, right? I hope you understood what is max, what is palindrome, and what is a subarray. So these were the three subparts of the problem, right? Now let's read the time constraints of the given problem. The time constraints of the given problem is n is still 1e5, right? Now if n is 1e5, 2n will be 2e5, right? So if you want to get a solution, your solution should be of big of n order or big of n log n order, right? You can't write a solution which is big of n squared, right? All right. So let's see a test case so that it is clear, right? Let's take the first one and the second one, right? Give me a second. Yeah. Okay. All right. So the first array, if you look at the first array, right, the array is 1 2 0 3 3 0 2 1, right? And if you look, the whole array is a palindrome, right? See, the whole array is a palindrome, and if the all elements are palindrome, you can take the complete subarray and you can say the max of this will be 4. Why the max will be 4? Because see, 0 is there, 1 is there, 2 is there, 3 is there, but 4 is not present in the subarray, right? So 4 will be my max, right? If you take up the second and see, everything is a palindrome. That's the reason why the max of this array is 4, right? Now let's say 0 1 0 1, right? Now this is not a palindrome, right? See, this is not a palindrome, but this is a palindrome. 101 is a palindrome, right? Because of this. So what we can say is, okay, this is a palindrome, so max will be uh, 0 is there, 1 is there, 2 can be the max, right? One more palindrome which I can see is 0 1 0, and in this also max is 2. So maximum of these two you need to return, so you will return a 2, and that is the reason 2 is the answer, right? You can try out all test cases. I think explaining each and every test cases would be a bit difficult. So now let's talk about the solution, right? So see, you can't generate all the palindromes, right? You can't generate all the palindromes. Why I'm saying that? Because let's say you let's say you thought that let's start with this one and try taking this two. Can I take this two? No. Can I take this zero and make a palindrome? No. Can I take this three and make a palindrome? No. Can I take this three? And so on and so forth. You will try with every subarray and check. So what I'm saying is you will try with every subarray, every possible subarray, right? And check if it is a palindrome or not. Check if it is a palindrome or not, right? And if it is a palindrome, then you will try to find the max, right? Find max of that array, right? And out of those, you will try to find the maximum one, right? So trying out every possible subarray is big of n square, right? And reducing it to finding the max of the given subarray is big of n, right? So ultimately it becomes big of n cube solution, and this will definitely give you a TLE, right? So how can we optimize this, right? The thought of optimizing this would be, see, if you want to find the max, right? If I am given an array of any length, let's say I am given a length of 5, right? Length of 5, which is a palindrome, right? But it does not contain a 0, right? Means it contains 1 1, 2 2, and 3. This is the longest palindrome I can form, right? But it does not contain a 0. Is it useful for us? No. Why? Because mix of this subarray will be 0, right? Instead, let's say you found a subarray of length 3 only, which is 0 1 0, right? This is also a palindrome, but the mix at this place will be 2. Are you seeing the magic? The magic is completely that you need to include the 0, right? Whatever you do, you should include the 0 in your subarray, which is a palindrome, right? Now, if you think of the problem statement, you go back and think again of the problem, then you will notice something, right? Let's say 0 was at this place, right? This was the first occurrence of 0, right? And let's say this was the second occurrence of 0, right? Means 0 was here as well, 0 was here as well, and there were multiple elements in between, right? Now let's discuss few things about this, right? Let's say you try to make a subarray which starts from this point, right? Means this is the center of the subarray, right? So what can you do? You can expand on both the sides and try to see if it's a palindrome or not. What do I mean? Let's say you had a 0 at this place, you had a 1, and let's say you had a 2 at this place, right? And let's say you had a 3 at this place. Now if you expand around this, you will say, okay, this is a valid palindrome. Is this a valid palindrome? You will say no, and your answer will be the subarray that is there, which is 101, right? This is called the first center expansion, right? This is center expansion. Let's look at another test case, which is the last, this one. And I have said, let's call this position as A. Let's call this position as B, right? So this was the first case. Now let's look at the second case, right? And how the second case will look like. What I'm trying to say is, let's say your 0 was at this place and this is the position Y. At this position you had a 5, you had a 5, you had a 3, you had a 3, right? You had a 1, you had a 7, right? Now again you will start expanding from the center, right? You will say, okay, this is the valid palindrome. Okay, again expand. You will say, okay, this is also a valid palindrome. Again expand, and this will fail. So you will say, okay, this was the largest palindrome which I got, which was 35053, right? See, I'm not trying to figure out what is the maximum max, but at least I know that if I want to find the max and it should be maximized, then I should definitely start from 0, irrespective of where other elements are, right? You won't be greedily thinking of getting a 1, but you would greedily think that you should get a 0. Why is that so? Because if you have 1, 2, 3 every element, but you don't have a 0, then there's no point of playing around or creating the largest palindrome that you have. Getting my point? So you should have 0 in your subarray. That was the point we have started expanding from 0, right? So you tried this and you saw, okay, the max of this subarray is only 1, right? And max of this subarray was 2, right? So will the answer be 0, 1 or 2? Definitely it will be 2, right? But there's one more smaller test case, right? Let's say you are expanding around this 0, which was 0, which we called as A, and this B, which was also a 0, and you were expanding around this, right? What happened at a point is you thought of expanding around this, you came up to this point, you thought of expanding, you came up to this point, and there were few more elements which were in between, and you left around. You said, okay, this is now not a valid anymore, and you stopped. But there could be a possibility, what I'm trying to say, there could be a possibility where these two are the center points, means 0, 0. You will see, okay, if I'm at this 0, let's see if inside all elements are palindrome to each other or not, right? Means, let's say you had 0, there were left elements to it, you had 0, there were right elements to it, right? Let's say we had 4 elements at this place, 4, 4, 6, 6, right? Now, if this, see, you can see this is a palindrome, right? Now, if you get this condition that this is a palindrome, now try expanding again to the left, right? As we did earlier, right? Try expanding again, right? So why are we taking care of this? Because there might be a condition, right? That this might not have taken care of this, right? This subarray, right? So now you are expanding, you are taking this element, you are taking this element, you said, okay, inside of all these elements, if every element is a is a subtle palindrome, see, it is a palindrome, right? Then you will say, okay, I will expand around, I will play around x, y, z, alpha, beta, and I will check, okay, if these elements again corresponds to a palindrome or not, right? So if what I'm trying to say, if this is a palindrome, right, you saw, okay, this is a palindrome, now I should expand, you will start expanding, you will say, okay, is this element equal to this element? If yes, continue, you do a start plus plus. Then you say, okay, is this element equal to this element? Yes. If it is, start expanding. You do a start plus plus, you do a end minus minus, right? By this way, you can expand around these elements again, right? So what did we infer from these three conditions? The first condition was try the first occurrence of 0, right? Means you will start with 0 and you will expand around this, right? Then you will say try for last occurrence for 0, last occurrence, right? And you will again get a solution, right? You can find the max. I will explain how you will find the max, but till this point I hope you are on the same pace, right? And for the last test case, you will say, okay, I am having this 0, 0. I will take this subarray and try to see if inside element is a palindrome. If it is a palindrome, I will try expanding on the right side as well, left side as well, and see how much maximum length can I get, right? Now let's say you were at this 0 and you found a length of 3 is possible. Let's say 5 is possible, right? Means 1, 1, 2, 2, right? Now let's say 3, 3, right? So you will say length 3 is possible, right? Now if I say, okay, tell me that if let's say it was 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? The length is 5, right? So I'm saying if I want to find the max, this was my start point, right? Let's call it first, right? If this was my start point, how much left should I go? Means what will be my starting point? My starting point will be first minus whatever my length was by 2, right? So first was at index 2, length was 5, 5 by 2 is 2, which is 0. So see, you are starting at 0, right? Okay, I will start from 0. Where will I end at? I will end at first plus length by 2, right? First was at index 2, length was 5 by 2, which is 2, which is 4, right? So see, you are ending at 4, right? So by this way, you can create a subarray of that given length, right? So you can find the starting point, you can have the ending point, right? Understood? Okay. Now, what will I do with the start and end point, right? You will send it to a function. Let's say it is called find max. Now, what will this do? It will have a starting point, as you can find out from the given formula. Will have an ending point. You will have an array, right? Now, what you will do is push all elements in set. Push elements in set. Now, what will happen? Let's take this example only, which was you push 0, you push 1, you push 3, right? So your set does not contain elements, repeated elements, right? You can use an unordered set as well. There is no problem. You can use any set, right? So you will have a 0, you will have a 1, you will have a 2, 3, right? Now what you will do, you will say, okay, my max is equal to 0, right? While my condition is true, I will run a for while loop, right? I will start with a max. I will say, does my set contains a 0? It will say, yes, it do contain. You will say, okay, do max plus plus. Does my set contain 1? Yes, it does contain. Again, do a max plus plus. Does my set contain 2? Because your max was 2. It will say, no, your set does not contain 2. What you will say, okay, return this max, right? As soon as your answer fails, you will return the max, right? And how much will this for loop or this while loop run? This will run at the most big of n times, because you can't have elements more than big of n, right? Means at least you will have only 5 elements, right? At the most, not at least. So in that case, this is completely in my bounds, right? So I hope the problem statement and the approach is clear to you. Now let's look at the code. So what I did is, first I found the first occurrence of 0, and I will have a second occurrence of 0. So how did I find it? If array of I is equal to 0 and first is equal to -1, means you haven't encountered a 0 till now, then you will do a first, that is first will be equal to I, right? Means this is my first occurrence of I, 0, right? Else if array of I is equal to 0, then you will say my second occurrence of 0 is at ith index, right? Now you can find the length, right? How will we find the length? We will simply say solve array of first, solve array of second, and simply find the solution, right? We will get the length. After getting the length, I can say find max1, right? Max1 and max2 will be found using the find max solution. I will show the find max solution as well. So you are finding find max solution, right? So how will you find the find max solution? It will have the array, which was my initial array, first minus length 1 by 2, first plus length 1 by 2 plus 1, right? Now why this is plus 1? Let's quickly look at it, right? Let's say I had that 5 length array, right? 3, 2, 1, or rather 0, 2, 3, right? So what will happen is your length will be 5, right? Which is your correct max, right? And in this case, you will start at index 0, right? Which is this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Where will you end at? You will end at 2 plus 5 by 2, which is 4, and you will your array, I'm just passing a +1 so that you are in your bounds, right? You don't, because I was running a for loop which was less than equal to end, right? So in that case I did a +1, right? I hope this makes sense to you why I did a +1. If you don't want to do a +1, you can simply run this while loop or this for loop less than equal to r, right? All right. Okay, so you did a find max1, you did max2, right? Let's see how did we find that. So find max gets a array L, which is the left pointer, right pointer, and what we did is max of 0 comma L, so that we don't get behind 0, right? We start from 0, right? And R is min of n comma R, so that we don't go beyond n, right? Because there is no elements beyond n, right? So what we will do is we are creating an unordered set, right? From I equal to L, which is my starting point, to ending point, and I'm inserting the elements in my set. As I said, int max equal to 0, you did a max plus plus, and you will simply return while set.count mix. What does this do? This simply checks if that element exists in my set. If that element exists in my set, then you will do a mix plus plus, else you will break out of this while loop and return the max, right? I hope this finding mix solution was clear to you, right? So till this point, you will find x1 and x2, right? Which was expanding around this x and y, right? If you look at this was 0, this was 0. You were expanding around this, right? Expanding around this. You're simply expanding around this, right? Now let's try to think if we had expanded around both of them. What does this mean? Means you tried checking if this is valid subarray or not. And how we did? We will simply say start equal to first, end equal to second, right? While for start is less than end, you simply see if both elements are same or not. You did a start plus plus, end minus minus, right? Really sorry for that. And else if that doesn't hold, you simply break out of the loop, right? So if my flag is 0, right, answer initially I'm storing as whatever initial max was there, right? If my flag is equal to 1, what does this mean? That means that this was a valid palindrome, right? If this was a valid palindrome, then you tell me until now what you understood. What you understood is now start expanding around the left elements and the right elements, right? So what you will say, let's say this was y, this was also y. You will check if this element belongs to this. Yes, it does. Then what you will do, you will say plus plus, right? So start is first minus 1, whatever my first element was. See, this was my first element, this was my second element. You said my start will be first minus 1 and my end will be second plus 1, right? And you simply again check for palindrome or not, right? If it is palindrome or not, and if it is, then you will simply say, okay, find mix again of the given subarray. Let's say this was my subarray. You can again find the mix of the given subarray, right? And if you do so, you will have all the three mixes and you will simply return the maximum of all the three of them, right? And simply return, right? So I will give you the code of it. If you have any doubt in this, you can ask in the comment section. uh, if you like the video, please do subscribe. It gives a lot of motivation. If you have any scope where I can improve, write in the comments. I will work on it. Please give a feedback of it. Thanks for watching.